I don't think being blind to the mechanisms of anything is ever a good idea. So if you guys think about, take art, for instance, the greatest artist of all time, take a Leonardo da Vinci, right? I don't think anybody argues that if he's not the greatest artist that ever lived, that he's certainly one of the greats. And what he would do was he would go out into nature and try to figure out the way that things work. So he was looking at the way that light reflected. He was looking at the way that things tend to get more blue with distance. He was getting cadavers and dissecting them so he could understand the musculature, so that he knew just from a physics standpoint how a muscle could move or bend, so that he knew how to pose a body. And that kind of stuff made his art that much more powerful. And so if your art is living a good life, if your art is being connected with somebody and making love last over a lifetime, then understanding the way the brain works, because look, we all live life through the brain. And once you realize that the brain truly, I don't think we live in a simulation, but I think that the brain comes so close to being a simulation of what is real that you might as well think of yourself as living in a simulation. There's an area of the brain called the deep limbic system. Its job is not to tell you what's happening. Its job is to tell you how to feel about what's happening. Now, once you realize, whoa, wait a second, it is not trying to give me objective reality. It's trying to tell me emotionally how I should interpret this reality. And then you realize that it can get inflamed. And when it's inflamed, it tends to perceive things negatively. So if you say to somebody, oh my God, you look so good today, and they get really pissed and really hurt, you're like, how is that bad? I don't understand what just happened. Because when the deep limbic system is inflamed, what they hear is, you didn't look good yesterday. And that's to understand the physics of being a human. And it's like, okay, cool, I get what's going on here. I can adjust my behavior. Like for me, understanding, oh wow, like this is really upsetting me, whatever she's doing, to know that that means that she's triggered an insecurity allows me to then not get into this death spiral of what we call arguing about the tea, but you get into what's really going on so you can diffuse the situation, so you can stay, in this positive, optimistic, loving environment, it's just a more fun place to be. And so without those mechanisms, which I understand how sterile and boring and lame that sounds, but it's like, you want to talk about something that changed my life. It was ceasing to be a slave to my emotions and finally understanding what triggers them and how, most importantly, to change them. And that has been massive in our life.
Yeah. And then talking about openly what you each need is going to be so important, because, just seeing how couples, I just heard it too much growing up, where it's like, yeah, I don't know, I blinked and now I don't know who he is. It's like, it's because you're not connecting. Okay, well, why aren't you connecting? You have to actually look at the realities of why you're not connecting. Is it because you're on emotional different paths right now? Well, you have to discuss that. Otherwise, what's going to happen? In 1, 2, 3 years, you're going to wake up and be like, I have no connection with you. So it's so important that we go to, what is our goal? To be together for the rest of our lives. Great. How do we get there? Now, that doesn't mean that you have to suck up all of the emotion and connection that comes naturally, right? So it's like on date night. It's not like we're talking about logistics on the date about like the things that we're going to talk about. You have to let that just take its, course and be like, natural and organic. But like you were saying, the mechanisms behind what are the things that trap most couples, or couples that end up not staying together, and we really look at that because we don't want to get there. So to ignore it, I think, is doing yourself as a couple a disservice.